Okay, welcome everybody. People are still coming in, so Pat's going to keep an eye on the waiting room and admit people in. So welcome. I'm Christina Merkley. Most of you are well aware of me. You have dropped in to this forum maybe before, or you've probably been through some of my trainings. A few of you might be brand new, so welcome. I'm going to just do a quick screen share. This is continuing to emerge with these process pop-ups. This will be the 12th one. Okay, you should be seeing a screen in front of you. Just a reminder about the toggle up at the top left. You can switch between various views in Zoom. Good luck. Poke around, you'll eventually find what you're looking for and being able to see it, but I am sharing a slide. And like I said, these process pop-ups have been emerging. I already had existing infrastructure. I have had two e-communities, my Working Visually e-community and the Shifted e-community. And when COVID started to make its way into North America, I was able, because of that existing infrastructure, to just respond. And so I was already about to go on sabbatical. So those e-communities were put on hold. So what's emerged is this new one, and these process pop-ups, process group, and it is very emergent. And I've created a new, this too could be changed. This is a version 1.0 of a meeting startup chart, just to help provide some semblance of container and parameters around here, especially as we're having new people continue to join. So desired outcomes up at the top left here. And I say desired because that's my intention. We'll see if we hit them every time, right? But that's why I created them and where my heart is. So I wanted to provide support during these transformative times. It started out with COVID, and we know all sorts of very important transformative things are emerging in our world at large. So I'm just saying 2020 shifts now, because they seem to keep on coming, right? But as a process person, I really do believe that these are transformative, difficult, hard, uncomfortable times, but we'll see where they get us, right? I think they're the result of what many of us individually and collectively have been wanting and visioning about, and now here's how we get there. Not always easy. So also come as you are. This is, I often will open up with the emotional scale, which means you might be across the emotional spectrum. You might be down in the deepest interacted kind of places of grief and despair and sadness. You might be bopped up a bit into anger and frustration, right? And then it moves up, gets kind of lighter into boredom and stir craziness and that kind of stuff. And then it starts to even lighten after that. You cross something called the hope line, where you start to get optimistic and positive and positive expectation, I should say, not positive per se, because all of this stuff is positive. And the tippy top ones is where we get into joy and appreciation and love, right? That's the full spectrum of human emotions. So any of that is welcome here. And you might have multiple things at the same time. So we're complicated beings, us multidimensional human beings. So support, come as you are. Inner work assistance, I really believe doing your inner work is a revolutionary act, and it is something that we can all do to contribute, especially in these really big things that often make us seem powerless, right? So we're not powerless. We can do our own inner work during these times, and that's profound. And I do believe we're all connected. And so we can impact a whole by doing our own bit of it. It's an ongoing online community, so up to you about whether it works for you and when it works for you, but I'm really wanting to just provide continuity. And it's about a week, 10 days or so, depending on my calendar. And I'm trying to switch it up in terms of the times and the dates, and just provide a through line during these times. Ideally, outcomes is shifts. You know, my moniker is the shifted coach, so that's what I'm attempting to do. And shifts doesn't necessarily mean getting off where you are. So sometimes the shift is being exactly where you are and being in the now, right, and not movement. But other times it is about movement, personally and professionally, and also individual, group, and collective. And then growth. I put that in red because that, you know, is my heart's desire here, is to provide a growth forum for everybody, and myself included. big work in progress, right? So this grows me tremendously. So thank you. Being able to host these and see what spontaneously emerges each time. So it's been profound for me personally to be able to do these. I get so much out of it. Agenda. It's different every time. This is an emergent co-created agenda. It comes out of the participants, again, who you are. We usually open up with some sort of quick check-in for those who want to do it. And it would be name, geography, and then anything you want to share about what's up for you briefly. Also, I'm always looking, this is process works. I'm always looking for something to work, right? So depending on what is up and what are people expressing, usually that's where we find our agenda. And I kind of use my spidey senses to kind of find our way through it. I have a whole suite of tools. And if you found your way here, you signed up on the process groups page. Pat's going to plunk the link into the Zoom chat for me. And there are a collection of visual tools. I use a lot of modalities, but I definitely use working visually, have long roots in that. And as a coach and a facilitator, I've created different tools to help me do what I do. So depending on what emerges in the group, I may find my way to some of those tools. They may be tools that are shared on that page. They may be tools that are not. So I'm only, at this point, kind of sharing a selection of my tools, the ones that I think are going to be of most use. But if, you know, more get created or more I think from my collection are suited over in that page, I may continue to add to it. And it's drop-in, so up to you. If you drop in and want to come or never. It is recorded, so some people just follow along, but the recordings depending on their time zones, etc. Roles, you guys are everything here, co-creators. We're building it anew each time. I also want to evoke your multiple selves. So you've got your now physical self. One way of saying that is your 3D self. And you've also got your fuller, multidimensional 5D self. So come as you are, right? Co-create from those multiple levels. It can get confusing too when we've got our different levels operating, where the physical self, personality self is like, whoa, getting buffeted around by stuff. And then your multi-dimensional higher self, right, is got a different perspective on things. And those things can operate at the same time. So as well as having multiple parts in our physical self as well. So it's holistic, and it's bringing our full selves, the yin and yang. Other ways to think of it, left brain, which is logical, rational, versus your right brain, which is the emotional, the intuitive, non-verbal versus verbal. So my work has both sides of the spectrum, and I like to do that, and that's what it's about here. Me, first off, human being, so there's no perfection here. I'm a human being, Christina, first and first here, but I am having the audacity to be a host, which is challenging at times in the midst of all that's going on. So remember, Christina, just a human being doing her best. And, you know, when you take on that role, you gotta take the stuff that comes with the role too, which is an incredible learning experience. So I'm a facilitator, I'm a coach, I have a process toolkit, I have templates, and also I have activated energetics. So I'm in the midst of an unfolding Kundalini process, have been for the last 10 years. And so you may see things different happening where I'll speak to that, and you'll also at times see my hands doing interesting things, which are called kriyas and mudras. They're spontaneous. If I wanted to, I can suppress them, and for years I've been keeping them underneath the screen. But with what's going on in this particular group, I'm just letting it rip and being my authentic self. So that's what's going on. If you see the arms and hands moving at times, you can go to my website, you can ask Pat or I, we can direct you to stuff on the site if that's unfamiliar to you and you want to learn more about it. Norms. Inhabit your own experience. We're each individuals, we're in our own worlds. So please do your best to own your own experience using I statements. So I'll occasionally have to pop out and say I, because sometimes it's just natural to generalize and say you statements and general kind of statements. And especially our world as it is right now, where we're learning as a species how to be we, and, you know, instead of I, it's kind of unusual to have to do the I to help us to get to we. But anyway, I like to evoke that one. Critique concepts, not people. We already did these ones here, renaming, remove your last name, so everybody's done that. You're welcome to use a fake name or a pseudonym. This is being recorded, it's shared on social media and on my YouTube. I do prefer videos up. First off, to identity check, we've already done that, so everybody's good. I know you're all who you should be. But for intimacy's sake, because we are sharing, and I know it's odd because we're doing it publicly in a way, but up to you. If you do feel comfortable and brave enough to share videos, please do, because that's going to shift the dynamics of the group, and also provide support to people who are working their stuff, because it can be disconcerting looking at a bunch of black screens as you're really going deeply and beautifully into your inner work. Okay, I think that's it. Options for me, if you need to speak with me directly, you can through the chat a comment just directly to me if you want to communicate stuff with me. I will stick around at the end as well, where we can turn off the recording and we can talk about whatever needs to be talked about. I do offer free exploratory chats as well. So if it's stuff about my website or my offerings or whatever, you can book one of those on my site. I do have paid coaching, paid training. You can check that on my site as well. Okay, that's it, everybody. Hopefully that gives a container here. It's tricky when you have new folks, which we love having us drop in every time. And it's different every time, even for people who have been here previously. So I'm going to have to do a container setting at the beginning each time along these lines, and this likely will continue to shift and change on us. Okay, so let me put that down. Thanks for the indulgence there to set the form here. I just want to kind of help shift state. And we're going to do a little energetic work, a little tapping, which is going to shift us out of that blah, blah I just did and everything that happened to get you here. I would invite you, if possible, to let down your multitasking and be present and be here, which is a challenge to do in our world and being online, trying to be present. I'm going to start with a couple of tapping things. The easiest way to tap is you can take the tips of your fingers or the cupping of your hand. And here's one. I talked earlier about left and right brain, just gently tapping at the top of the head. And that's going to be kind of a somatic response to, hey, two sides of myself, relationship, come together, awareness. That's one of our brains. Down here in the heart has a brain, just like the head and the mind has a heart. So topping the head, and then we got the gut, right? The real lower first chakra foundational stuff. We've got a whole universe microcosm in our belly. Head, heart, gut. So that's an easy way. You can just find your preference. Sometimes just holding the heart, is the way to go. I'll give you another one. This is great for any place here or when you're out and about. This is called the butterfly hugs. So you can cross arms. It's bilateral. So just like this one was bilateral, left and right, this one is bilateral. So with these hands, you can just hold them like that. Or you can very gently and maybe not even perceptibly move your left, like to side, right? So your little fingertips are kind of pressing in. Left side, right side, right side. Or you can make that much more profound so that even on the video, we can kind of see you doing it, right? Left, right. If anybody's done EMDR, this is what's going on, right? We're working with the two sides of the body and the two sides of our being. Different ways to process. This whole thing about bilateral here, I'm doing it with the arms. You could just as easily put your hands on your knees or on your thigh or something if you're in a business meeting or whatever, once we get back to being in person. You can very subtly do this where nobody knows you're even doing it. What does this do? It helps to bring the two sides of you together, but also when there's stuff swirling around you that you're processing and reacting to and your nervous system's doing various things, it can help give the nervous system a way to process it, okay? And get to those unconscious, nonverbal kind of places that often get stuck when we encounter things, words, concepts, things, and get understandably triggered and shocked by them depending on our context and our background. So I just offer those as tools here, and often depending on what's happening, I may go like, let's tap that, and you may see me tapping. You don't have to be into tapping, just throw it on the coffee table, up to you about whether you pick it up. So with that, let's just do a round of tapping here. I'm just going to do a quick one. There's a cortices process I could teach, but I've done that before. I'm not going to do it today. So let's just do a couple of rounds of head, heart, and gut. Oh, and when you're doing so, just settle in and notice your body. If you want to stretch or move your body in any other way, stand up, bend, stretch, feel free to do that. Dance. Hey, Catherine. Yeah. And whatever pace works for you, notice what your body likes and needs. And you may, if you're new to tapping, I invite you to keep trying it on your own, especially when you're in a quiet place, because you can notice the shifts that happen in your somatic, in your body. It's different for everybody, but common things will be your breathing slowing down, settling into your body, maybe your shoulders coming down. Breathing, hopefully settling calm. And it's okay if those things aren't going on. You might have come from something that has a lot rattling and stirring around, and it takes some time to shift state. Anyway, that's a little bit to just help us shift state. Just gonna send out an intention here. Intention for me as a host here, and you can insert your own words and your own intentions, but just to collectively create a field here. My intention is this to be of service, for this to be of helpful and of support, to be educational, perhaps at times confrontational or provocative in a helpful way. My intention is that provocation or conflict have a trajectory where it does able to move and process in a way that gets it to a better feeling place. And the intention is for personal transformation to happen for each of us to whatever modicum it wants to occur. And that also be connected to group and collective shifts of consciousness as well. And how about some fun? Some fun and spontaneity and awe and magic. Yeah. All right, so with that, I think we can open up mics, and for anybody who'd like to just check in, a name and geography, and if there's anything that you want to just share, like comments or reports about what's up for you. And this is a process group, so if you've got something that you'd like to put on the coffee table to process, let me know. I'll keep a list, and then we'll find which ones to go with today. And this is just done popcorn style, so however it wants to happen. And we may get some silence, so that's okay. Just be comfortable with the silence. We don't always have to be talking.
Hi, Christina. It's Peggy from
Hi,
Victoria.
Peggy.
Great. Yeah, wonderful to be here. I've just spent the last week on Zoom doing Therapeutic Touch virtually. And it was amazing. So now the question that's rolling around in my head is, how do we introduce ourselves in a way that people feel like they know us when we start doing that kind of work? Because it's really important to have that kind of trust that you establish in these meetings so that we can present our authentic self, and we can ask people to be their most authentic self as well. So it's just that safe container is really important.
Great. My left brain is going to just pipe up and say, well, yay, because that's exactly why I did what we just did, which sometimes might irritate some people because it takes some time. And my right brain is going, oh, goody. We can probably hold an inquiry for you. So I've got that on the list. Thank you. Perfect.
Christina. Pauline from
Pauline.
everybody. Pauline from Edmonton. And for me, it's like there's been all of this massive shift going on. And this week, it's about moving forward. I've really felt a big pull towards moving forward again. So, so what Peggy said about, you know, setting the container was really, really important. And what you've done today is helped with that as well. So it's really actually good because it's that action plan.
Is that what, with moving forward, is that what's starting to happen? You're moving into action planning? Or how is it going? Is there stuff, the visioning still getting clear? And
I think the visioning is clear, and I think it's the bringing the people together and moving them forward into that action. And so setting the container, the boundaries for that container for them.
And when you say the people, I'm assuming this is in a leadership capacity for you. So you're like holding space and projects. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Very good. Thanks. Cool. And makes my left brain think too, over on that process page, there's a bunch of visioning tools. Pauline was awesome and did one of the free recorded sessions. So you can see her doing some visioning work there. So there's visioning tools over there, and there is an action plan. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff for in between. Yeah. Thanks, Pauline.
That's a good segue for me, Pauline. I'm Catherine Ricketts. I'm in Regina, and I'm starting a new position as a director in professional development at the university in July. So I also feel like I'm trying to kind of work up new kind of action in my role at the university, and that has actually started a whole domino process of updating and new operational systems and storage and all kinds of awful pragmatic stuff with computers. So I've been dealing with that in the last week, which reminds me of how little I know about all of these platforms.
Yeah, such a challenge right now, right? There's such a learning curve, and so many of us have been pushed to next levels and going through the awkwardness. I do a lot of tech phobia coaching and stuff in my programs, and I'm not saying what you're encountering is that. It's just kind of the norm for what we're going through right now, but lots of compassion, and me too. Yeah. Thanks, Catherine.
Yeah.
Hey, Christina, I'll go next. Hi, everyone. Sharon, sometimes Lola, just for fun. And, I've always worked in the helping professions, and I am retired, which is not an easy fit for me. And some of what is going on for me right now it seems very timely. I feel a little bit like a dragonfly. I'm just kind of flitting. I walk into this room and this is what I'm doing. Then I walk into another room and I'm doing something different. And I'm doing that pretty much in my brain no matter what I'm doing. The only place I find that I'm a little more centered is I'm a weaver, and I've been weaving and really loving being in that process. And I am weaving my process. It's like whatever is ruminating within me, I'm choosing my colors through that and trying to, I wanted to use the word struggling, but I don't think it's a struggle because I haven't faced it to that degree yet. It's more of an unraveling at how many things in my life I start and don't complete. So I'm sitting with that as part of my container. I probably have about 10 different things, say, through the OM learnings that I've begun, tapping being one of them, and somehow be that dragonfly again and just flit away from it. So I'm wanting to explore trying to quiet that part of me and stay focused on something.
So moving from divergent down to converging.
Yes, nicely said. Thanks, Christina.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jude, and I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in the United States. And I'm 2 weeks away from retiring after 31 years in academia as a professor. So I'm teaching a class right now, but I'm in the process of kind of sifting through what's next for me. I know this isn't the end of my work in the world, so I have a lot of things in mind for what I want to do next. But I'm trying to kind of listen to what the world needs of me, what my community needs of me. And rather than just, jumping in to offer things because people are asking me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do my decisions to be more aligned with my greater purpose and not just things that I'm good at that other people need right now, which is a lot of the technology skills. I don't want to do online stuff. I don't want to do stuff. I want kind of doing.
I'm not sure why, but you're cutting out a little bit. You seem pretty close to the computer. I don't know if it's bandwidth or something on your end or mine.
It could be, I'm not sure exactly where the microphone is on.
Oh, you're better. Yeah, however you shifted your body, you're better. Yeah.
So did you hear anything of what I
No,
said?
it was kind of cut in and out. Yeah.
So I was mentioning that I'm making this shift from being a professor to trying to listen to what the world needs of me. And I've been getting asked a lot to do online teaching and technology-based stuff. And I don't want to do that. I have the skills, but that's not what my heart is calling me to do. So I'm in the process of kind of sifting through what is it, where I can really be aligned with my soul's purpose and not just do things that, I don't know, that are easy or expedient, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thanks, Jude.
I guess I could go. I'm just processing the fact that I'm unemployed again. I was at one place for like almost 30 years, and then this last place just under a year, because right, you get cut because you're the younger or the most junior,
Mm-hmm.
or least seniority. That's the word. So I don't know. So I'm just processing that because now I gotta look for another job and.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Lots of people in America are in the same place. So I'm also in Wisconsin, just north of Milwaukee.
Okay, thanks, Jackie.
Yep.
Anybody else? You certainly don't have to, but if you care to, love to hear from you.
I can jump in. This is Joanna from Indiana. I worked with Christina, a year or two ago, learning graphic facilitation or recording, and kind of thought that was the path I was on, and then all this hit, and I'm not sure how much more time and energy to invest, or if I should switch and go online, or just listening to what your gals are saying. I can identify with a lot of that, as I have a lot of irons in the fire. I've started a lot of things that I haven't finished. I'm midlife or older here. What's my purpose? How many more years, do I want to fiddle around here? And so all those same questions, and I'm feeling stuck. Like I just can't figure out which next step is the right step.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and individually so dovetails with the collective too. And we're all in a various shades of pausing in various ways. So we're being impacted by pauses and being impacted by transformational events happening on, and hopefully massive shifts. So it's hard to figure out how to individually align and being buffeted about by collective environmental factors. Yeah, systemic change in the midst of. Great. There's a resource I was going to share, and it's going through my head. And it's interesting as we go along each week and what emerges from the group. And it's, you know, changed. The last 2 sessions we did a lot in terms of US race protests, international response. And I have registered for this incredible conference that just started today. Pat, I'm going to ask you to try to find it for me. I'm going to put it STRATAGEM. I think this is it. Okay. And I'm just very conscious too that, you know, I'm a middle-aged white woman, so I attract like attracts like, and this is primarily a white space, at least for folks who have popped up and spoke here. And it's very important for me as a facilitator to become more conscious of privilege and conscious of my shtick in the world and be inviting for Black, Indigenous, people of color. And I hope from my personal recorded sessions that have been happening too. We're a little on the white middle-aged woman centric side of things, but we're starting to get some diversity in there, and I would love to have some more representation across the board in the groups and in the recorded sessions that are happening as well. So I just wanted to speak to that, given what is so up in the world, and not to make wrong what's emerged here at all. These are all definite things that we can work with, but it felt weird not to also talk to some of the larger amazing shifts and energy that's happening in our world as well. Great. Okay. Going once, going twice. Karima, thank you. I know you did a flash, and I appreciate that.
Well, I was thinking it's just alignment, because Kaya is what you coached me on. I don't know if you remember that. Come as you are. And you specifically told me, this was like a decade ago when I was doing Teen Girls. I'm still doing Teen Girls. But you specifically told me to make sure that I use the word Black girls. I don't know if you remember that. Remember, I kept going back and forth with, I didn't want to be pigeonholed. I didn't want to be, you know, and you were like, no, they need you. And do you remember that?
I don't, but that's so awesome. Good.
Yeah. So, and is that the accelerators behind you?
Oh yes. Well, it's there's another version, but okay. Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah.
It makes me smile.
I don't have many of them left, so I'm down to a couple of them, and that's one I have left. So I put in the backdrop. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, cool. Yeah, today we had in the stratagem, they're starting this whole week with a series of workshops. So anti-oppression was the first one. And yeah, I'm really impressed by this group for multiple reasons. Their content is amazing. There's like 500 people from around the world attending. A very young group too, which is good for me to be around millennials, right? And talk about technology. So I'm looking forward. Jody Isaac, who's a client of mine, First Nations woman here in town, who is wonderful to point me in the direction of this resource and participating as well. And Cicely Consulting, I forget the woman's first name, but she's in Vancouver, and what a team. So it's about a month-long process. Lots of good stuff there. Okay, let's see. Peggy, I think I'm going to go with your inquiry around how to introduce yourself. So this is interesting for me to hear. I'm parts of different modalities and fields. And so it's interesting to see the visual community, right? Particularly graphic recorders and graphic facilitators have to be forced to go online. I do a lot of work with constellations and energy work too. So it's interesting seeing the constellators jump online. And it sounds like you're with the Therapeutic Touch community, and they're having to do the same thing, right? So, and very interesting. I think in a way, like especially the energetic work, once you get beyond the have to have actually be touching, you sometimes find out, I don't know if Therapeutic Touch gets into that, but you're certainly, I'm guessing, being forced to as you explore the online to find out just how energy actually happens beyond just the physical touch as well. So, and working online, I feel, having worked for about 7, 8 years, 10 years, whatever, in various ways, that it allows one to tap into that into really interesting, powerful ways and actually kind of blow people's minds about energy, right? And having to all this physical, if you're very left brain and physical oriented, getting into the subtle energy online, in a way, the medium lends itself to that. So that's just kind of a quick projection of what I feel, you know, and what I think you brought to the table, and I'm excited to play with this energy a little bit. I'm just going to screen share. Now, I think what I want to do with you, and you can correct me if this doesn't feel the way you want to proceed, but I'm feeling an inquiry. Right now, I think, and more and more, my work is, you know, it's always morphing and changing, and there's a lot I'm doing right now with non-duality work, which people are often doing different forms of what can be called inquiry or consciousness unfoldment. I think we have our own best answers within us. That's why I do so much work myself with future self and different kinds of techniques to draw out people's answers from within them. So inquiry is a great way and an accessible way for you to explore and see what your consciousness wants to do in terms of giving you the answers to the inquiry that you've brought forth here. So, and as we go along, there's multiple things that I can invite you to do. You're a co-creator in this. So usually what happens when somebody processes, first off, you're holding space, so keeping your attention and being present as much as possible. You can be doing tapping at different places to assist that person and to assist yourself. And there's all sorts of parallel processing that happens as well. So you may have something very similar to that person, or you may have something that's not exactly the same, but you can kind of find an entryway to it from what that person is doing. So we'll see what happens here as I individually work with individuals, right? That usually is useful for the group as well. And I also trust the process, that why did this group of people come together and why did I find my way to this person? Usually there's some cross-referencing going on, not only just for the live group, but also for people who will be afterwards processing along with the recording. So you're up. So something's going to happen here that's going to be hopefully of benefit to you and to other people watching in, Peggy. So how's that land for you? And you may have participated with some of the inquiry stuff, and I know you with your background have probably done all sorts of stuff like that. So
it's really exciting because I think we lost our lot. We had 2 founders, and the last one died a year ago. But she left us with this message: don't go back to sleep. We have to be aware and awake and responsive to what's going on. And she was always encouraging us to feel, to really feel the unity that there is in the world. And even when that unity is connecting ourselves to a rock or a tree or something that we think of as almost inanimate, but there's just so much energy that's flowing around. And we kind of get it, but now doing the Zoom and being without the ability to do the face-to-face therapeutic touch, it's wonderful because we're exploring that level that she was talking about so much, and we have no choice anymore. We have to go there. And the results have been astounding. So I want to go there, but I also recognize that the first time you encounter someone, there's an awkwardness that doesn't allow that settling in to happen as easily as it does once we get to know each other.
Okay, so I'm just going to And the map is never the territory. So as I take notes, most of you are very familiar with graphic recording and stuff, but if you're not, it's just, the map is not the territory, meaning I can never get the complexity of what's going on down, but I can get some highlights down. So your founder came out with, don't go back to sleep, people. Kind of her last messages to you. Wow, what a profound message from a founder to a field, and the unity concept. And then the field is so used to this face-to-face, and then when you move to this online thing, it's kind of like, huh, how's this work? And now you're finding out.
Yeah, we've also been doing distance healing, which is different. It's when you do distance work and you think of someone who's in India and you're sending healing to them. But when you have the actual image of somebody in front of you on a screen and you're working with them in both the energetic dimension and the physical dimension, it's really amazing. Truly, truly.
Mm-hmm. Was the field already doing distance sessions, or is it this has come about because of what it's had to do? Like I've done body talk and we always had an option to do distance sessions. Is it the same for Therapeutic Touch?
Yeah, very much the same for Therapeutic Touch.
Okay, cool. So it's not that new a thing. You didn't have to get over the whole thing of, oh, you can actually do this by distance without bodies being in the same room.
Yeah, but I have to say that we felt it in a different way. Like we've done distance work. We've been astonished that it works, but there's just another understanding. We're beginning, I think, to really understand that there is a universal energy field and that we are connected one person to another.
So you were just doing it with static images before, so you hadn't really done it. Were you using the phone? Would you connect with the person and talk to them by phone? No. Oh, I see. Interesting.
Yeah, sometimes just a name. That would be all we would send healing to.
Which healers, that happens a lot in healing work. Yeah, so interesting. Yeah. Yeah, with Body Talk, we would do distance sessions, usually by phone. Myself, I would do them online with notes and stuff, right? But most people in the field were just doing phone if they were doing distance sessions, or maybe Skype. So it's been definitely shifting in that field. Okay, good. So all of this preamble here, I'm just going to contain this. This is kind of from your left brain consciousness now, right? Which is our usual cognitive consciousness that we usually interact with. And that's for brain frequencies, that's beta. And we bow and thank and welcome the left brain. That's all good, right? Inclusionary here. And now we're going to actually move into some inquiry process. And that's where we're going to be more inclusionary here for the fuller states of your consciousness, not just the left brain, but potentially the right brain here, right? And getting your answers in here. So just however you want to do it, Peggy, if it's eyes closed or if it's focusing on a dot or whatever, however it is you connect in, can be done with our eyes open, however you connect into your innermost being there. We're just going to get into the present moment. This all came up in the present moment, but now I'm curious as we kind of set the stage to go into inquiry. What comes up for you? It might be thoughts, feelings, sensations, whatever, but as you settle into yourself and breathe a bit, what flashes is our starting place for this inquiry?
The excitement, just we're going to go there. Like there's just so much enthusiasm because I've seen that it works, and even works with people that I was so concerned about, who are so elderly, and working with Zoom, I just thought there'd be all kinds of problems which would negate everything that we do energetically. Not at all. It was just, let me go here.
Oh, beautiful. So the whole thing with inquiry, this is the magic thing. Whatever it is, you are welcome here. Okay, folks. So we've got excitement. Usually it's a little harder or easier to welcome things that are a little further up the emotional scale, which excitement is. So go right ahead and, Peggy, within yourself, just kind of bow to excitement that just percoled up for you. And that we're really going to get there, right? That tingly, kind of sparkly, excited energy, just bowing to it and saying, thank you, you're welcome here. Yes, yes, yes. And just see as you acknowledge it and bow to it and receive it, what happens. Nothing needs to happen, but sometimes things do. So just see what unfolds.
There's actually a calming that happens. Like there's excitement is like laughter in a way, and it's just discombobulates in a good way, like just shifts all energy. But I feel like as I accept that excitement and as I give into it, there's this calmness and more structure. It feels like there's the it feels like, okay, good, now we've got this, let's build on a foundation. And it just feels like there's a logic to it, I guess.
Okay, so actually multiple things happened. So the first thing that happened was somatic. So the body calmed down. And then I think what happened was the mind kicked in. And the mind said, let's build on this, and that whole logical thing, right? Structure. So let's bow to the first off, the calming, right? That calming in your system. Just acknowledge it, just like you did the excitement. Calm, you are welcome here. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. And you're also going to welcome and acknowledge the part that popped up. I think it's the mind, but we'll see. Let's build on this. Let's get logical. We can do something with this, right? Usually that part that's like all dewy and roll up the sleeves, it's usually the mind and the action planning kind of side of us, which is beautiful. That's why we welcome everything.
And it's both, actually. You know, I feel like it's somatic. It's in my body, and it feels like there's order there too.
Lovely.
It's not just my mind.
Excellent, excellent. I always stand corrected because your intelligence is going to teach, and it just taught there. So bow to that. Say thank you. Thank you. Not only is it logical mind, we acknowledge that, but we're also acknowledging the mind in the body. And thanking for its education on that. Received. How smart you are.
And I'm smiling because it feels in some ways like the tools are there. It's not like I need to go out and buy some more tools at, I don't know, wherever you go and buy tools. But, you know, the tools are there in my body, in my drawer. You know, they're physically there, they're emotionally there, they're psychically there, because it's not any different. It's
good.
Really not that.
So this body, this intelligent body that has a mind too, thank you very much, is telling you that the tools are there. This is not about lack of tools, it's telling you from its intelligence. So bow to that. Thank you. Thank you for your sharing of the tools are there. Yes, yes, yes. And then just see what unfolds. Maybe it's more it wants to tell. Maybe something else wants to happen. Just see.
Wow. There's gratitude and there's awareness that the tools are there because I've been gifted with this knowledge and training over the years. And again, it just popped to my mind, what a wonderful privilege of being a white woman. Mm-hmm. Like it's just the whole thing again. It builds on itself, the privilege. And I didn't expect that at all.
Okay, bow to that. Mm-hmm. Bow to that flash of all those gifts that you've received over the years, to the privilege to be able to do that, granted you by your race. And from that, those feelings of gratitude and awareness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're welcome here.
And it's like, I'm just feeling like there's an expansion where I feel like the whole idea of introducing the question, the inquiry that I started with, it feels like that's it's a continual dilemma. I mean, I've had the same issue when I come into a community of people that I don't know. I'm nervous about how I introduce myself, how much of my inner self I'm willing to share. And it's not new. None of it is new.
Bow to that insight. That this actually isn't new. You thought maybe it was new because it's connected to this particular thing in the present, but this intelligence, it's coming from within to show you, hey, this isn't new. Remember, you get this when you introduce yourself, normally in groups, and how much to really share authentically and deep within, because you've got a lot, right? You bring a lot to the table. You are very well-rounded and have all sorts of experiences, and that how much to divulge, how much to share, how much to show. Okay, bowing to that. You are so welcome here. Thanks for the insight.
I see the mirror. Like I just see that the more that I can process this, that the more I can mirror to the people that I'm working with, so that they can feel comfortable in sharing. Like I feel like I need to go deeper in order to understand, but the gift will be that I will be able to use every bit of exploration that I unearth. Everyone is a whole and perfect person, and that's what we do in Therapeutic Touch, and that's what we do in coaching, is just try and help that whole person feel whole, I guess, is really. And so the more that I can delve into the wholeness of myself, the more I can be the conduit for others to do that. It feels huge to me. It's like, yeah, keep going deeper. That's the message I'm giving myself.
Beautiful. So take a moment, don't rush, take a moment. That was very significant, right? So the flash of the mirror and the recognition that this is, the more you do it, then that's an invitation. The more you focus and delve into the wholeness of yourself, then you can be a conduit for others to do the same. Thank you, thank you, thank you to intelligence that is guiding you here to this awareness, is communicating so strongly with you. Beautiful.
And peace, it just, a flash that to be peaceful is critical, to be calm and peaceful.
Okay, good. It's giving you more. Good.
Yeah.
Being calm and peaceful.
I mean, even at times when I'm trying to figure out what the heck is working or not working with Zoom, it's just that whole thing about, okay, just step back, and this is new to me, new to everyone, and I'll figure it out. I figured out lots of other stuff. I'll figure this out. I know I'll figure it out. So just relaxing with that and being much more accepting of the reality and the potential for issues to come up. And then how do we deal with issues? We deal with issues the way we always deal with issues. I deal with issues. And that's to try and accept what's happening, understand it, and figure it out or move on. Yeah, one way or the other. There's always help.
It's rapid fire in terms of sharing stuff with you. Good. Okay, so let's make sure you take some time and just acknowledge and bow to each of these and the multiple layers of intelligence that's being shared with you. So being calm and peaceful, just how imperative that is. Thank you. Got it. Got the message. You are welcome here. And the suggestion of stepping back and just the reassurance of you'll figure it out. Bowing to that. The guidance of relax, accept the reality and the potential of issues. There's always help. Just receiving all of that and bowing to it and welcoming it. Yes, yes, yes.
compassion, heart.
Mm.
Where am I coming from? Where am I meeting others at? And so it always has to come from that place of compassion. Oh, Christina, this is amazing. I just
Our
went on
consciousness is amazing. Yes.
I went on a long bike ride, and I realized that sometimes I look at things and I judge what's going on. But today I just looked at things and noticed. I noticed that there was a man underneath a bridge, and I noticed that he was lying on a blanket. But I didn't judge or guess or make any assumptions about who he was. All I did was notice things and just really trying to move myself away from that place of determining what's going on all around me by just one little clue, when that is so not what's going to work. And it's not what's going to work on a day-to-day basis, but it's also not going to work on a way of respecting the person who I come across on a Zoom screen. I have to ask the questions. I can't make assumptions and jump in to, well, I'm looking at this person and I know exactly what's going on for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's the need to really be always stepping back and asking and being really clear that I don't have the answers that they do, that their body does, if we're talking about healing, and just really always asking, checking in, making sure it's okay to be there, all of those questions.
Okay, a lot happened there. So let's take time, right? Slow it down and just make sure that you meet each layer as it shows itself. So out of the come from heart and from compassion, you got that flash of the watching today, the man on the blanket under the bridge. And so this is your intelligence communicating to you, and it flashed that. And then it made a link, right, to that same Zen and beginner mind, for lack of a better word, approach to take to the Zoom environment. And as you look at the different thumbnails of people, to watch the brain's tendency to do association and judgment and that kind of thing, and to go from before that, go from that different angle. There's something happening emerging here.
And it's crazy because it can be as simple as a name. Like it could be, oh, that name, I associate this with that name. And it's just so crazy. Yeah.
Yep, all that stuff that's underneath us. That happens so lightning fast.
Yeah.
Okay. Bowing to all that, then just see what unfolds. Also bowing to asking questions, right? Watching that assumption, asking questions so you can see what this is as opposed to just doing the habitual conditioned overlay.
And the humbling that happens. And
okay, now you go to humility. Okay. Welcome humility, Peggy. Humility, you are welcome here. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for coming.
And the endless learning. What becomes there's like, oh my gosh, it will never be done. But it's good. Like that to me is the best. That growth. And the more that I explore this, the brighter that authentic self inside is getting, the more I'm getting colors and because there's in this exploration, as simple as it is, there's such acknowledgement of the wisdom that lies within myself and others.
Okay, I want to get that. It's so so was it wisdom that lies within self and others?
Yeah, it was wisdom. And It's vibrational. It's colored. It's got its own characteristics.
Mm.
Yeah. And because it's vibrational, it's expanding. I mean, it's like a ripple. Like there's so much potential.
Okay, bowing to all of that deliciousness. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Niggle happening that I'm taking too much time, Christina. Am I taking?
Oh, that's my responsibility. So let's just thank that and just check. It may just be the thing to go, okay, that's the piece, we're done. Just check to see if that's it, or if it's the other side of it, which is like, oh, bad me, I can't have the focus on me, that kind of stuff. We have just encountered humility after all.
I think this is pretty amazing to go from just how do I deal with introducing myself.
Yeah. Okay, so just bow to the whole trail and to that amazement of, this is why more and more I do inquiry, because it's the best coach in the world, right? Your own innate intelligence and the larger whole that we're all tapped into. So bowing to that, bowing to the sense of amazement, and bowing to the humility to know when the piece is closed, done, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Peggy.
Thanks, path, for sure, because it's been like this path through all of these steps. And thank you. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
To just explore that. Wow. So this you're recording, so I'll be able to go back and have another look at this.
And on the process page, this will be posted, so you can go to the process page and download the map. Pat does magic with stuff, so she'll post the video and she'll post the map. You'll get a notification when it's ready. So in a couple days, you'll get that notification. Yeah.
Thank you, Pat. Yeah.
Okay, let's just do a quick round of tapping to just seal that piece of work and appreciate Peggy and her larger intelligence and what it did there. And then I leave it open for anybody who has anything that they'd like to say or share. If there's something you want to say to Peg, or any noticings, any reports of how this impacts you. Maybe you might not have something similar. Maybe it reminds you of something else, that kind of stuff. And you'll just have to unmute if you do care to pop in and share anything about how that landed for you.
Thank you, Peg,
for sharing. Karen from Vancouver.
There's a couple of you. Let's get Pauline and Lola. Yeah.
Pauline, you go first.
I just wanted to say thanks, Peg and Christina, because I was co-processing.
Good. That's the point. So I'm glad to hear it's going on. Good.
So I was able to get down some notes for the process piece and helpful hints and the connection to that stratagem group. Because the format of the stratagem group is actually kind of interesting. That's kind of like,
it's very amazing what they're doing. Yep.
Yeah. So, and I also shared another link for folks if they wanted to look at that as well. A trauma one that I'm going to do next week is free. So, but I've had this vision of a trust fund project. So, yeah, and it's all about passing it on. And so what Peg was getting to is capturing the wisdom from within and being able to pass it on and share it in a knowledge center. And so what does this mean? And just giving people access to practitioners in that space. So
Cool.
Just inviting it in that way, and that's kind of like what Stratagem was trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
Providing the container for folks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people with their different knowledge base and expertise and areas to come together in a picture in a certain topic. Yeah. Territory. Yeah.
So kind of neat.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. And Lola, I think you were next. Yeah.
Well, Peggy, I just wanted to appreciate you. I loved learning about the soul that you are. You know, you touched me on so many ways, and I love that first sentence about don't go to sleep. That will stay with me. So you gave me a lot of ahas to kind of get out of my place of going to sleep. So thank you.
Mm. Oh, Peg, unmute. I can see your mouth moving, but we can't hear you. Yeah.
It's wonderful to be able to share that. Yeah, it's pretty profound. Don't go to sleep. And she's not the first person that said that. I think.
Flip it. Wake up.
Yeah.
Stay awake. Yeah.
I wanted to pick up on that. Don't go back to sleep as well. That is a invitation that I've been given a few times when I've gone out on a vision quest. It's a way to kind of send people off and help people, like you just said, Christina, wake up and stay awake. And so as you were going through the process, Peg, it felt like it was kind of a vision quest that you were, starting more out external and then coming in and finding that place of calm and peacefulness inside. And then recognizing, I wrote down the tools are all there. And that's kind of a parallel processing for me. It's like I have the tools inside. I just need to take the time to find that peacefulness and that calm and figure out which tools am I ready to bring out into the world. And so I appreciated the work you did, but also the ability to process along myself in my journey into retirement. So
isn't this fascinating? The things that other places we could have played. The parallel processing that happens and the unfoldment for those inquiries. Yay, nice. Creama's got in the chat the flip of that. Don't go to sleep. Stay woke and work woke. Whoa, goosebumps down my back. Powerful. Anybody else? I'm also aware we've got folks who might be dropping in for their first time, so you're certainly welcome to unmute. I know it's kind of weird when you step into something you haven't done before, and how is it? But forming, storming, norming, performing, group dynamics kind of stuff. But I welcome Bernice, Karima, Elena, if any of you want to unmute and pop up, how this piece of work landed for you. Certainly don't have to, but more than welcome to. And we'll leave it open for anybody else who wants to comment. We usually go for about 90 minutes or so. And so we've got about 10 minutes or so left. So I'm reluctant to start another piece of work because we'll probably need more than that amount of time.
Can you just flash up your process map again, Christina?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just trying to remember what that path, that last thing that Peggy said. Something about a path.
Thanks to the path. Just
thanks to the path.
You want to speak to that, Peg?
It's really hard. When I speak from my heart, it's very hard to go back and speak there. But the path, I think, is the journey. It's the same as the journey. And I came with a package. Thanks. I'm trying to use the I word. I came with a package of information about what I was going to do in this life, and it sometimes it seems like it isn't working out very well. And then really the path is perfect, and everything that I get at every sort of corner and turn in the path is what I need to continue. And I keep relearning that that there is this journey that I'm on that is really important, and it's definitely important to me. And there's a reason that I'm here, and so the path is really it's important to me. I guess it may not be important to anyone else, and it doesn't matter at all. It just is my path, and
Your life. And that was Pauline was asking. Pauline, did that twig something for you? What's going on for you around path?
Yeah, that totally resonated because it speaks to the purpose of a walkabout in Australia, and that deeper connection to finding that journey, finding that path, and going out at an age where we can do that and connect to it. So whether you're male or female, you're connecting to that path. And I think providing spaces for that. And I too have felt very connected to my path and just following the journey. So I totally get your feeling. So thank you.
And it's not, for me, lots of people have said things like, oh, you've had such a hard life. And I don't feel like I've had a hard life. I've just followed my path. And that's all there is to it. And it's profound and it's simple at the same time.
Any other sharings, report outs on what's happening for you?
One of the things that's coming up for me really strongly right now is the idea of that life is the journey, not my job. You know, my job is not the journey, right? Life is. So thank you for that.
I lost my job when I was, how old? About 38. I was too sick to work anymore. And I quickly realized that it isn't about the job. And that's the first question that people used to ask was, what do you do? And it was like a really hard question for me to answer, but it really isn't who you are at all.
Oh, I wish Jackie was here. That reminded me of Jackie, and I looked to see, and she's left. Yeah. Okay. I also like it when people leave if they'll drop a note. So I'm just checking to see if she dropped a note. I'll follow up with her. Okay. I was hoping to do 2 bits of work, and that was going to be the other bit, but I also kind of trust how it unfolds. So. Just taking a look at our chat. Okay, Joanna said goodbye. Great. Okay, let's do a checkout. I like a 1-word checkout. 1 word to sum up how you are in this point in time, or how it's different every time we do these things. So let's see what your word is as we're wrapping up and leaving. And it can be wherever the heck it is on the emotional spectrum. So don't feel like it has to be a pretty word or a pleasing word or any of that kind of stuff, right? So authenticity.
Light and love.
Okay, thanks, Pauline. You close out on that a lot in your emails. Yeah.
I think contentment for me.
Okay, thanks, Peg.
Pondering for me.
Mm-hmm.
Deeper awareness.
Thanks, Jude. Karima, do you want to pop up or type it in chat?
I am grateful. I'm feeling very grateful right now.
Nice word. Yeah, nice state. Yeah, nice state to be in. Okay. Pat, you want to go?
Wow, I came in a little heavy, and I'm feeling very light. Karima mentioned grateful, and that's another one. That's this has been really good. I was thinking this will be what I need today, because it's been that way every time I've been able to be here, and I wasn't disappointed. I processed along with it to the things that I relate to. I just really appreciate Peggy for opening for this and allowing. It's so cool to watch this happen as a person just evolves and things just open up to them and it comes out. It's just amazing. Really good.
Wow.
Hopeful and happy.
Nice. Okay. Get everybody going once, going twice. Yeah. I'll do myself, just appreciative. So appreciative of you all coming and appreciative of what happens in the container. And also just appreciative of being taught more and more about our inherent wisdom, right? I think the best thing I can do, the quickest I can do it, is to open that up for each of us who are brave enough to do that work publicly. And I would invite you to do that to the best of the ability on your own as well, right? Meet what is, welcome it. Yes, 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 thank it, no matter where it is on the spectrum of stuff, and just see what happens. And even that, meeting it and presencing it, right, does so much. There's some trickier stuff that can happen too, and doing some various things can be of assistance, but that meeting and welcoming, I love so much. Whatever it is, you are welcome here. Yeah. Well, that's who we were for June 22nd, 2020. I will figure out the date of the next one, and that will be enclosed on the email that Pat sends out when she notifies you that the recording and the map and stuff from this one has been ready. And you're welcome to come at any time. My desire, should I be able to keep doing that physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, etc., is to do continuity, right? So the plan is just keep on going. So welcome at any time to drop by if the time and whatever suits for you. Thank you, everybody. Take good care. Feel free to unmute. We'll do a mass goodbye. Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Hi, everyone. Lovely
Thank
to
you.
be with you. Thank you,
Lovely.
Christina, so much.
Very welcome. Take good care.